Hello and welcome to the Famalam podcast. We're talking today about how to establish healthy family routines for pre-teens and teens, interviewing the wonderful Greg and Sophie Sharples. Famalam is a podcast all about how to build our family lives around the teachings of Jesus. And I'm here with Toby, and it's very good to have Greg and Sophie with us. Greg, Sophie, hello. Do you want to introduce yourselves? What do you do if you're not being recorded on a camera?
Yeah, I'm Sophie, and I am married to Greg, and we've got 3 children who are Seb, who's how old is he? 12? 30! 30,
Yeah.
sorry. We've got Beatrix, who's 11, and Josiah, who is 8. And I'm an occupational therapist by background, but currently working for a church doing children and youth work.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm Greg. I'm a vicar and Sophie's boss, and she really likes it when I refer to myself like that. Yeah, we work together leading the church. It's called Transform Witness.
Come on.
Yeah. And you guys are busy. Life is full on. You got 3 kids, pre-teens, early teens. So that's why we were keen to have your thoughts and perspectives on this conversation that we were having last week around routines. So I wonder if you could tell us what routines helped when your kids were younger and how have things changed as they've gotten older?
Well, I was just wondering if we could set expectations, because we feel really honoured that we were asked to speak on a podcast about routines.
Yeah.
But the Robinson family is like the most disciplined family we know, and we're like at the complete other extreme. So for low performing, inconsistent parenting, we can talk about how to recover well. We're going to bring that edge to things.
Well, I don't know that we are, but that's very kind. So go on. What did work well? Because I know that I've known you for a long time. I know that you have put routines in, and like us, they never go quite as planned. But what were some of the routines that you felt were really good when the kids were younger, and how have they developed and changed as they've gotten older?
It's funny because it's so hard. It's so hard to, like, you feel like in the moment with little ones, it's just all consuming, isn't it? And then you feel like, oh my goodness, is this phase ever going to end? It's exhausting. It's amazing, but it is exhausting. And then you, a couple of years go by, and you're like, what did we do again? What was our routine? You get it all, don't we? I think we put some kind of big building blocks in place, which really helped us. So things similar to what you guys were talking on the last episode around bedtime routines, mealtime, waking up time. We had the main building blocks in place, didn't we?
Yeah, but we also, I think we are committed as a family to doing things like we'll go outside every day, which I know sounds like basic, but if you've got a small child and you're absolutely shattered, that commitment to get out of the door in the morning actually really sets you up for the day. That sort of thing's been really helpful. And we also gained experience from others around what to do. Because part of the problem with having young kids is that you're not experienced, right? So then the confidence that you need to kind of parent well is just not there. So we kind of felt like we wanted to borrow confidence off people like you guys and other kind of like people that would be looked up to the way they led their family.
Yeah.
And then that's allowed us to go, right, okay, bedtime's really important. Sort of set meal times are really important. And even from like when they're very young, putting the kids to bed and praying for them. And I remember having Seb, and every day I would pray, I would break off any words that had been spoken over him over that day that would be like negative and release the truth of Jesus. And that was like every night. And then I'd sing a really bad version of My Jesus, My Savior. And it was terrible.
That's so good.
So, but it's not sort of like, even before they're consciously aware of something, layering in like a spirituality that, hopefully they're going to grow up with and press into themselves.
Yeah. And I think when they're very little, and when you have your first child, you're like, oh, we're going to be dead relaxed. We're going to be really relaxed parents. Baby will fit into our lives. I remember, we'd had the baby, and then a couple of days later, we were out at our favourite restaurant, and the baby's in the carrier, brilliant. Then a month on, we're back at that restaurant again, and Seb screaming the whole place down. This is just not working out anymore. You're trying to latch this baby onto your boob at this restaurant, and it's just like, this is really stressful. This baby's not happy. I'm not happy. And it's that whole thing of having to adjust all the time. So it's like, actually, we can't go to nice restaurants right now in our lives. What we're going to have to do is, make the most of our evening at home, by eating, make sure the baby's down at 7, otherwise it all kicks off. And it's just trying to, I think as a mum particularly, and I was at home, I stayed at home with the children for the first couple of years, and there's times when you feel like you really resent that. You're like, oh, here again, so tedious. This routine is, it's just like, I remember someone saying, the days are long, but the years are short. And it feels like that at the time. But it's trying to.
There's only so many times you play junior Monopoly, and let the toddler win. It's like,
yeah, you feel like, oh, I've done it 2 times. But then it's just trying to, like, it's only a season. I've just got to enjoy it and embrace it, and then it'll pass on to a different season. So
yeah.
I think it was one of the things on that as well. With Seb, we did actually try and be quite disciplined, and so he was pretty well routine. And possibly, I wonder if you were a little bit precious with him. I remember dropping him off to my mum to babysit. She'd be like, "Oh, you're abandoning him with us." I was like, "Please don't speak that over my child." That's all like, "Oh, this precious little kid." I think, and obviously, what we declare over our children is important. But I think our level of preciousness has decreased with every child. And I think the things that we almost name as important, like we go out every day, we have set bedtimes, we have set meal times, we pray over the kids at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. It's like the boiled down version, because we were still doing that with our third child. Whereas some of the other stuff we weren't. He probably did have McDonald's too early.
That's so good.
But it's interesting about how their routines change as kids. So if I can't remember what it was that you said, but it reminded me that actually routines as parents change as well, right? And I think the thing about changing from preteen to teen, suddenly the evenings that you loved to have when the kids were younger, suddenly they're not there anymore. But Toby was going to ask about morning routines. So let's start with mornings before we get to anything else.
So what does like a morning look in your household? And if you've learned anything about like lowering stress levels, what does that look like?
It's such a good question. I think I remember my mum saying, these businessmen, they think they know about stress. Put them in a school run routine about stress. I honestly, the mornings can feel so stressful. Mornings are really important to us, and we've had to adapt it quite a lot. So thankfully, we are both like morning people, and I think that does help. So,
and neither of us have a long commute either. It's 20 meters.
Well, for some families it's totally different. Like someone has to leave the house at 7 and then 6 in the morning or whatever. We have the luxury of having that bit of space before the school run. So we try and get up a bit earlier than the children, which I think's really helped. Well, it's really helped my sanity. So we try and, as parents, get up. We have our kind of separate quiet times, our times with Jesus. And kind of having that space, getting our head in the game, getting my head in the game. And then we then wake up the kids, and we try and have breakfast together around the table. So it's as the kids have got a little bit older, it feels a bit more, because they get themselves up a little bit more now, whereas before it was
mainly.
wake them up, but it is still very, very stressful at times. But now they're a little bit older, they can get themselves dressed, they could pick out their own uniforms. When they were little, it was a lot harder and a lot,
And we also, I think, in terms of dealing with time pressure, we do have clearly distributed roles as well. So I basically make breakfast, make packed lunches, And so it helps them get dressed and sort of washed and all those sorts of things. And so that means that more or less we can have breakfast together. And when the kids need to leave, there's not a whole bunch of jobs that need to be done. I think one of the key things that has helped me, we actually disagree about this. So one of the things that has helped me deal with not being too stressed in the mornings is I just came to the conclusion it doesn't matter if the kids are late for school every now and then.
So good.
Because I'm quite like, I was really, I mean, I have got a high value of punctuality. So to come to the conclusion, actually, you know what, the school are going to be all right with this. And actually, the school our kids go to, we're the least of their worries most of the time. So just creating that own sort of internal flexibility. If the gate is shut and we have to go through reception, that'll be okay this time. So if you didn't agree with that so much.
No.
I love the body language as well.
Yeah,
if you're watching this, you can see. If you're listening, there's some body language going on that suggests that Sophie's not okay.
If you want to try and train your kids to, be responsible, and timekeeping is important.
Yeah.
But it's hard because sometimes the wheels come off with us, and so the wheels come off for them. So, for example, this morning we were late getting up, and then we were having a conversation about this. And so by the time we looked at our clock...
It was your fault, Gareth. Absolute clarity. You broke our routines.
And so by the time you look at the clock and you're like, oh my goodness, it's 10 to 8. Seb has to be out the house by 8:15. He's still in bed. And poor Seb gets up, and then I'm kicking off at him because he's so slow. I don't know about, obviously, Toby, teenage boys. It's like they're like on this, you're probably out of it now. It drives me insane. He's like, I say, where's your shoes? I'm just going to go and get them. He wants us upstairs. He wants us back down. I'm like, where's your shoes? He's like, oh yeah, I'll just go and get them.
Brilliant.
But anyway, we do really value sitting down together in the morning, and we do pray for one another around the table. It's really important, and the kids really value that as well. So we don't have a particular set prayer, but we do pray and ask them, what are you looking forward to today? Where do you feel like you need Jesus' help today in your day? We pray about that.
I think that every now and then you get some content or speak to someone and think, oh, you get really inspired about a new routine. And, we had that with the whole highs and lows of the day and the whole kind of hopes and prayers for the morning. And the reality is, sometimes you have a really nice family conversation around what somebody's worried about going into the day and what they need prayer for. And other times it's just carnage. And I think one of the things that I felt like it was important to name on this was like, there's a real journey to implementing a routine. And it's just not perfect most of the time, is it? So it's okay. The important thing is actually we're going to keep on trying to do something and listen. And I would definitely say that increasingly those things like hopes and prayers for the day and highs and lows have become the catalyst for really meaningful conversation. But obviously, if your kids are pre-teen and one of them's 3, then there is going to be limits to that.
Yeah. That's really good.
The other thing is about expectations around like food and breakfast.
This is going to shock you, Gareth. I had to learn that a gourmet breakfast doesn't need to happen every day.
Oh, honestly.
Yeah, it does.
So not like you.
I'm like, let's just have a Weetabix. It's so stressed. We're trying to set up that house and Greg's like, no, I've made this 2-egg ham and cheese omelette.
Just let me smash this avocado for you.
And then we've had loads of conversations like, mealtimes are important, but the kids feel quite overwhelmed with a full English breakfast every single day.
It's like, why are you going to eat that? You have to pay £15 for that in a restaurant.
Greg, that sounds like my dream. Can I come and eat at your house?
You're very welcome. Come on. We're all about that here.
I'm all about the Cocoa Pops, Toby.
Get the sugar down you. Yeah. Come on, get out of the house.
Yeah.
So there's something about the sort of aspiration, I guess, of this is what we would love, but then the reality check of, but this is the amount of time we've actually got. This is the reality of the life stage that we're in, and trying to make those compromises, which I guess is hard, Greg. You'd love to cook breakfast every day, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah, and it's just naming the fact that actually sometimes that aspiration isn't helpful.
Right.
Or if it's creating stress, then we just need to like do something different here.
Yeah.
And we are quite good at, trying to talk through these things. So it's like this, what's working, what's not. I think the building blocks are in place. So we really value sitting around the table at breakfast and at dinner. They're the two things that so we don't have screens before school, just because we found if our kids start watching the TV before school, it would be a nightmare getting them off.
Yeah.
It's like no screens. Seb's phone's not allowed to kick in till 8:15,
Right.
and then when he goes off to school. So that's really helped, and that's the thing from the word go. So we've not had to fight that battle because we just don't have screens before. This is just in a weekday, it's different weekends.
Yeah.
But that means we all sit round and eat together in the morning, and same at tea time at night. And it might look different and chaotic, but those things are in place, aren't they?
Yeah.
So what have you done about chores and homework? Like we've done mornings. What about after school, some of the weekends, getting the kids involved in learning to take responsibility? That was some of what we were talking about last week. It's a great idea, but how have you managed to do that as they've grown without becoming like the world's greatest nagger? How have you done it in the way that they're able to kind of, or hope that they will take responsibility themselves for those things?
Yeah.
I would say that I do my fair share of nagging. I wish there was more sort of like coaching questions that went on. That's sort of like, there are more of them than there were, so that's good.
Yeah.
Well, and we also, I'd say that we've tried lots of stuff that just hasn't worked. So we had like a chore chart
Oh yeah.
that was laminated and people took off this week's chores. Like, I don't think we even managed a day. Like, it was just like, and it was like, color coded. So if you did this job, you could get this much money. Be like, it was just like, it just did not work for us. So
with our personalities, and I know we've got friends who do that and it works really well, and they have like phones set up, like they go with Henry, and then money gets transferred if you do certain chores.
Oh wow.
I think we tried that for about a week and it didn't work. So I think chores are really hard. Personally, myself, I'm not very disciplined around of course,
any form of tidying.
No, that's not bad. But it's hard, isn't it? Because there's like once a week on a Wednesday, because we don't have any kids on a Wednesday, they have to tidy their rooms.
Right.
They kind of know that's it. They need to tidy their rooms. And we try and get them involved in things like they have to take their plates out, empty their plates, and help with the washing up. But I think that's an area which we still are working on.
Yeah, and it's key though that we try to play to our strengths, which is generally sort of kind of relational and sort of encouragement, rather than here's just like a rule that you're gonna have to stick by, because we're not always very good at sticking to our rules. So the coaching the kids through like, what does a tidy room look like? Does it look tidy? How tidy does it look if there's rubbish on the floor and you haven't put your own rubbish in the bin, and all your drawers are open? What do you feel about and just trying to get them to engage with the standard of not just tidy doesn't mean just slightly better than what I've got, but actually a genuine improvement which they can then appreciate. But it's it's a work in progress, that.
Yeah. So I think chores.
It's not an area of strength.
I really need to get someone else on that one.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more house proud people that that could speak into that.
Yeah.
Homework we've been quite good at.
Yeah. Well, homework is similar. I think what you guys said. There is an expectation that when you come in, you do your homework before you go on any screens or whatever. As she said, now he's in high school, he has to come in sit down and do his homework. And then on a Sunday afternoon, because Sunday's like a working day for us as a family, that's when the kids do their main block of homework,
Right.
the younger children. So they have a book that comes home and they do the sheets there. They're quite good. They're quite good at doing their homework, really.
Inevitably, they're more motivated about some things than others. I've got a little pep talk that I like to give Seb. Sophie really enjoys this. I say to him, Seb, imagine this is the life you want up here. You know, this really high quality. This decision, does it take you towards the life you want or away?
That's good.
Like, playing 5 hours of games a day, towards or away. And so now all I have to do is this.
That's so good.
But so he understands it, but it's just trying to join up the dots between the effort you put in will affect the life you have. And obviously we believe in a God of grace, and freedom without discipline is actually slavery. And so you do need to try. That's a Chinese proverb, that. But so it's really important that they learn those disciplines. Anyway.
Really good.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, Dad's asked me to ask this question, but have you got a moment, a routine that ever like fell apart completely? And if you have, is there anything you've learned from it?
Oh, Toby, I feel like every day our routines seem to fall apart. This morning, we were so stressed, and I was like to Seb, poor Seb, I was like, Seb, are you stupid?
At least it was a question. At least it was a question, not a declaration.
And he was like, he just looked at me. And the problem is, it's not about him or them in that moment. It's totally about me.
Yeah.
And about, our lack of routine, and the wheels have come off with us. So therefore, I'm projecting my stress onto him and onto the kids. And I feel like, and bless him, and we do always say sorry, and I say, I'm really sorry, Seb, I shouldn't have said,
Yeah.
are you stupid? Because he's not stupid, he's wonderful, but that's my bad behaviour projected onto him.
But I think we just think the rhythms constantly tweaking and engaging with, and so having a little bit of space where we can review. Soph's really good at making sure each week we have a planning meeting where we're just sort of reflecting on what's coming up. Where do we need to find a bit of give in our schedule? Where do we need to just make sure we contend for things like family time? That's been really important. I think like holidays are hard because the sort of the normal rhythms disappear. So kids have a lot more screen time, a bit more freedom in those times. So how do you manage the shift from just get off your screen to actually I've got to give you something more appealing. And there's this 17th century guy, Thomas Chalmers, he said, he talked about the expulsive power of a new affection. You can't just stop doing something, but you've got to fill the void with something else. And so just like said, get off your computer game. That's a completely different thing to come play herd mentality with us, or like some other board game, because it, like what he actually wants is feedback and connection. So we need to offer him that. And we've also found doing family games that are just really quick and easy. So we've got this game, Grab the Mic. It literally just takes 10 minutes to play. There's a little sponge microphone, and a word comes up. You've got to sing a song that's associated with that word. Everyone enjoys it. It's done, but it's like connection time as a family.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think it just takes effort as well. Like talk about routines falling apart, not all just when it's gone wrong. I think sometimes I come in from work and the kids are coming from school, and I know they need to be doing their homework, but they've gone straight onto the screen. But actually, I'm tired as well, or I'm still trying in work mode, so I'm fielding emails. And before you know it, it's 5 o'clock and the tea's not on the table. I'm scrolling, they're on their screens, and you're like, this is not good. I think as a parent, these things take effort to put in place. They don't just happen naturally. And even like the board game, like on a Friday night, we try and have a family night, and as you come in, you're tired. So we love a film, so often we'll have a film night. But sometimes it's like we've had a lot of things we need to really connect as a family and we'll play a game. And at the point, I'm like, I really can't be bothered playing. I can't be bothered playing Cluedo. I'm knackered. Just want to sit down, have a glass of wine, and watch a film with the kids.
Yeah.
Or actually, when you make the effort, and it's really fun, and you think but it does take effort and intention to put these things in place.
And I think we just have to find a balance as well, of like where we get to be inspired by the people, but also then play to our strengths. Like we are highly extrovert as a family, so then sort of hearing about how one of my introvert friends has their like Sabbath family time, it's like, oh yeah, that sounds really romanticized and nice, but it's like actually an impossibility for us. So making sure we, again, socially good about making sure we are connection time with different friends, and again with our kids, making sure they're plugged into clubs. So most of them have there's some sort of club every night for our kids, except for Wednesdays. And that, again, it just works for their sort of the extroversion that we have as a family. It means that we're not trying to internally always generate I need to be more disciplined about this routine. The externality of that means I am committed and I can stick to it in a better and stronger way. So I think that's been really important.
Yeah.
But the routines fall apart when we haven't got that balance quite right, I think.
It's good to it's helpful to think about having a time where you can review, try and look at those pressure points. And I think we as parents always have very high expectations of ourselves, don't we? And then kind of kick ourselves when it doesn't quite go the way that we wanted to. But in terms of as the kids have developed through younger children, preteens into teens, if you go back 5 years, what routine would you have started earlier? And what routine would you stop worrying about? Like, what did you stress about 5 years ago that looking back, you're like, oh, that wasn't a stress? And what do you wish perhaps that you would have started a little bit sooner?
I mean, I think I wish I been more chilled out about the lateness thing on the school run a bit earlier.
I'm not sure Sophie agrees.
But again, we haven't worked that one through yet. I think our kids had some sort of like tablet, as in like a iPad or something like too young. I mean, how old were they? Sort of like 7, 6, something like that. Yeah. They're pretty well locked down, but it's like those things just like gateway drugs. And the moment you get a taste for them, you're constantly fighting that fight. So I just wish we'd delayed a lot longer on that. I think I wish we'd done a little bit of a better job getting our kids sort of engaged with chores from shape from a young age. But unfortunately, what that requires is us to be better at chores. So, so personal repentance required there.
Yeah, definitely. And just the kind of taking responsibility for things like, I think
room
tidying. Like if you went in our car sometimes, I think I was maybe a bit more relaxed about that when I should have been on it a little bit more. And so it's a lot harder to implement now. I think, and it's tricky to know what's personality and what's just lack of, like often I'll be like, oh, that's just my personality. But actually, I think if I was more disciplined around that would help kids a lot.
And what's great is we've now got that on video as well. So
the things that you'd stop worrying about, that looking back you're like, oh, I was worried about that, but actually
I feel like
other than school starting time.
It's funny because I worry a lot about things, and I worry a lot about kids in some ways. And I feel like when they were little, particularly, I just thought, is this ever going to end? There's night times were so exhausting, or they would just never go to bed when you wanted them to. And I feel like that caused a lot of anxiety at that moment. Like, is this ever going to end? And then you think, actually, it does come to an end. And eventually they do sleep.
Yeah.
And then you're moving on to the next challenge. I feel like it's constant. So now we're in that kind of coming into the preteen stage and having to negotiate things again. And I think maybe I wouldn't get so stressed. I used to get really anxious and stressed at the time. And now I think, you adjust and you can adjust. And that's the lovely thing about God's grace and things can be redeemed even when it's a disaster.
Yeah.
You know, God's mercies are new every morning, aren't they? And things start again. And you're like, oh, I told Seb to whatever today or be this, or talking about it and moving on.
And it's really interesting to talk about routines and disciplines, because some of the areas where Sophie is the strongest and the most disciplined is really leaning into kind of conversation that allows you to connect on a heart-to-heart level with kids and with me. And she leads that and creates space for that in a beautiful way. And there's no way I would, it's almost like swap that for like a neater house. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of, it's kind of, and I mean, a neater house would be nice as well. But I think it's that kind of like, we need to affirm the strengths that we bring to those areas and trying to, I'm not sure there's a single thing. There probably are particular things that we're like, oh, we shouldn't worry about that so much. But it's more just the general posture of, oh, why doesn't my life look more like this? The sort of comparison being a joy dynamic, where it's like, actually, no, our kids, and you're doing really well in this. So there's something, edit that. So that sounds good, please.
Love that. I'll do my best. Well, time is against us, but guys, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on what it's like to try and develop good routines for pre-teens and teens. Really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed listening or watching. Please do like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things that you do. We'd love to continue to encourage even more people what it means to build our family lives around Jesus and his teachings. God bless you. Goodbye.
Bye.